Tinji was once immersed in an online romance in a moment of confusion. She was sweet-talked by her online boyfriend, who claimed to be an ancient-style model with a cold and gentle temperament. She transferred a total of 600 yuan to him one after another. The man borrowed money on the excuse of accidentally damaging shooting equipment and needing urgent compensation. Right after receiving the payment, he cut off all contact and disappeared completely. With no other options, Linji had no choice but to go to the police station to report the case, intending to file a fraud report and get her money back. She had thought she would only suffer financial losses. Yet she never imagined that the police officer on duty in charge of her case was Gu Yanju, her ex-boyfriend who had vanished and cut off all contact for 3 whole years. 3 years had passed. The youthful special police officer Gu Yanju had completely transformed. Dressed in a neat, dark blue police uniform with every button unfastened tightly up to the collar, he exuded an overwhelming restrained and cold charm. His facial features were sharp and cold, mature and distant. The awkward reunion crushed Linji instantly. Gu Yanju recognized her at first glance, his eyes filled with mockery and estrangement. He teased her for losing her mind in poor judgment, openly browsing the ambiguous chat records on her phone. Linji fell into extreme social embarrassment in an instant. She was overwhelmed by shame, yet she could not help but be attracted by the upgraded charm of the man she once loved. She blamed herself for being easily charmed, while being forced to accept his interrogative questioning as a police officer. The tangled past between the two gradually unfolded. In her college years, Linji took the initiative to pursue Gu Yanju, a cold and unattainable top student at the police academy who later joined the specialist alt team. They had been in a loving relationship for 3 years, but constant conflicts arose due to his high-risk job. He was often trapped in closed training missions and emergency tasks, disappearing for more than half a month at a time. The long separation left Linji trapped in constant worry and loneliness. The final breakup was triggered by an accident. Tinji fell and fractured her bones, lying alone in the hospital in extreme pain. She longed for her lover's comfort and company, only to find Gu Yanju's phone shut down and unreachable due to an urgent mission. Crushed by despair, Linji took the initiative to break up. Gu Yanju made no attempt to hold her back. He coldly wished her well and said cruelly that it was as if they had never loved each other. This single sentence shattered all her expectations and affection. In a fit of rage, Linji blocked and deleted all his contact information, renaming his no-text boyfriend deceased. Send paper money if needed. They cut off all connections and parted ways for 3 years without a single word. During the 3 years apart, Linji lived a solitary life. Pressured by her family, she went on numerous blind dates, but never met anyone who could resonate with her. By chance, she joined an ancient-style Hanfu hobby group and met her new online lover. The man had an alluring profile picture, a deep magnetic voice, and offered meticulous emotional comfort every day. He greeted her morning and night, acted coquettously independently, and doted on her unconditionally, perfectly filling the emptiness and lack of companionship in Linji his past relationship. He deliberately built a cold and abstinent persona, refusing video calls all year round and only communicating through voice messages and edited photos. A half-naked photo showing his well-defined shoulder and waist lines without revealing his face completely broke Linji his rationality. His figure and cold aura were almost identical to Gu Yanju, the special police officer who had saved her in a disaster years ago. Becoming her perfect emotional substitute, he made Linji fall deeply into the online romance. Blinded by infatuation, Linji impulsively transferred money when her online lover fabricated a sudden crisis. She never expected to be abandoned and blocked immediately. Inside the police station, Gu Yanju handled the case strictly by protocol, sharp-tongued and relentless. He pointed out the low-level fraud routines with precision, hitting her where it hurt. He mocked her for spending money recklessly on a stranger she had never met, recalling plainly that when they were poor college students, she had even hesitated to buy him a 3 yuan cold cola. He read out intimate nicknames such as darling husband in cheesy chat lines in front of everyone, pushing Lin Zi his embarrassment to the extreme. A fierce quarrel broke out. Lin Ji accused Gu Yanju of indifference, sudden disappearance and cold violence in the past, blaming him for never understanding companionship or emotional needs. The grievances and conflicts accumulated over 3 years burst out completely in the public service hall. When collecting evidence, Lin Ji handed over the private muscle photo of her online boyfriend as crucial clue. The moment Gu Yanju saw the picture, his expression turned icy with shock. The bed sheet, dormitory background and surrounding details in the photo were extremely familiar. The seductive substitute photo that had fooled Lin Ji was not a random online picture at all. It belonged to Gu Zichen, his freshman cousin. The so-called romantic online lover and ancient-style model was just a playful and dramatic teenage boy obsessed with Hanfu culture. Gu Zichen had borrowed money in disguise because he was terrified of being scolded by his cousin after breaking an expensive camera gifted by Gu Yanju. His phone was damaged by falling into water, and he was grounded for failing advanced math exams, leaving him unable to contact others. It was never a deliberate fraud, but a ridiculous and dramatic misunderstanding. The truth came to light quickly. Gu Yanju confronted his cousin through a video call on the spot. Soon after, Gus' mother rushed to the police station with Gu Zichen to apologize sincerely. She took the initiative to compensate Lin Ji 3 times the defrauded 6,600 yuan. The warm and enthusiastic mother and aunt tried their best to reconcile Lin Ji and Gu Yanju, repeatedly emphasizing how well matched they were over a reconciliation dinner. During the meal, Gu Yanju unconsciously retained his old habits from their relationship. He skillfully removed scallions and garlic from her food and sterilized tableware with hot water, revealing his deep, buried, lingering affection through ingrained gentle gestures. Meanwhile, the naive Gu Zichen openly confessed his crush on Lin Ji, claiming she was his ideal type and declaring he would compete fairly with his cousin, adding more awkward romantic tension to the scene. Lin Ji fled the awkward dinner and vented her bizarre experience to her best friend. She insisted stubbornly that she would never reconcile with her ex and would never revisit old relationships. However, after meeting Gu Yanju again, her long-buried feelings stirred once more. That night, she drowned her sorrows in alcohol. Liquor magnified all her grievances and longing. She mustered up the courage to call Gu Yanju, crying out all her pain and resentment from the past 3 years, questioning his ruthlessness and abrupt departure. Upon receiving her drunk call, Gu Yanju was filled with worry. He rushed to the bar immediately and took the intoxicated Lin Ji back to his apartment to take good care of her. Lin Ji woke up the next morning in Gu Yanju's apartment, finding her clothes changed. Ambiguous tension lingered between them. At breakfast, Gu Yanju took the initiative to reveal the truth behind their sudden breakup 3 years ago. Back when Lin Ji was hospitalized with a fracture, Gu Yanju was severely injured while carrying out a high-risk mission. He was shot while covering his teammates, with bullet fragments damaging his spinal nerves. Doctors diagnosed him with a high risk of permanent paralysis and lifelong wheelchair confinement. Terrified of becoming a burden and ruining Lin Zi his bright future, he chose to push her away cruelly on purpose, bearing the pain of multiple surgeries and painful rehabilitation alone in silence. Over the following 3 years, he endured 3 major operations and a full year of grueling physical training to recover and return to his post. After regaining his health, he secretly followed Lin Zi his life, seeing her frequent blind dates. He felt inferior about the hideous scar on his abdomen and hesitated to reach out, choosing to watch her from afar. Shocked and heartbroken by the truth, Lin Ji burst into tears. All complaints and misunderstandings faded away, replaced by overwhelming heartache and reluctance. With secrets uncovered and barriers broken, their never-faded love resurfaced. They confessed their true feelings, let go of past estrangement, and officially reconciled. Just as their relationship warmed up, the ignorant cousin Gu Zichen interrupted their intimate moment with a bouquet of roses and another confession. Furious, Gu Yanju firmly announced that Lin Ji was his lover, putting an end to his cousin's unrealistic fantasies once and for all. Life after reconciliation was plain yet heartwarming. Gu Yanzhu abandoned his former cold and sharp attitude, doting on Lin Ji wholeheartedly. No matter how busy his police work was, he always made time for her, taking care of household chores and cooking for her to make up for the companionship he had failed to provide in the past. He strictly supervised her to learn and Eierfaut knowledge to prevent her from being deceived again, and quietly changed her contact note to a loving nickname full of exclusive tenderness. In return, Lin Ji completely let go of her prejudices, understanding the dangers and hardships of his career, learning to be considerate and tolerant. At the end of the story, Gu Yanzhu planned their future earnestly, proposing to build a warm family together with a plain and sincere confession. Their love began with instant attraction, trapped by realistic misunderstandings and separation, and finally achieved mutual devotion after twists and turns. What once separated them, miscommunication, hidden pain, and unavoidable occupational hardships, were all healed by candid communication and sincere affection. The cold criminal police officer and the persistent young woman overcame long-distance estrangement and hidden scars. After 3 years of separation and countless misunderstandings, they found their way back to each other. Their ordinary life filled with trivial warmth proved that true love could transcend time, misunderstanding and regret. What started as a reckless online romance disaster eventually led her back to the one person who had always loved her deeply, gaining a lifetime of stable and cherished happiness.